in Amerika is so horrible. It's so evil. It's the worst, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in the last 8 years, tourism is down close to 40% in the U.S. No one wants to come here. People from other countries know when they see police in black masks, man, this is North Korea or Mexico. I better get out of here. When people see cameras everywhere, tourism's down in England. They say, this isn't freedom. I'm out of here. When people, I've got mainstream news articles today where pro-war neocons assigned to the Pentagon as in-bed reporters come back and have their laptops taken, have their email passcodes taken. The TSA sits there and reads your email in front of you. They ask, how much money do you make? And the guy wouldn't tell them after 20 questions or more. And so they arrested him. That's on prisonplanet.com. And that's how it is now in Europe and Canada. I have been in rooms with Canadian police while they are laughing and smiling and saying, we're going to put you in prison, and literally getting off on trying to scare me. I have seen them feeding in pure Soviet Nazi evil, screaming at me off and on for 15 hours, laughing at me, telling me I was going to go to a Canadian prison for no reason. In Rockwall, Texas, I had the school police officer before we moved here when I was a sophomore. I had him call me in and say, we know you're stealing stereo systems from Happy Country Homes, a trailer park 10 miles from where I lived. And I said, what are you talking about? Happy Country Homes. I think I'd been there one time to fly a remote control airplane with a friend years before. And I told him that. And he said, don't lie to me. I know you're stealing stereos. And ladies and gentlemen, I never stole anything but beer out of ice chest on the back of golf carts. I lived in the, middle class golf cart neighborhood. By the time I was 14, a few times we'd be at the lake house or the country club, and we'd laugh and reach in and get, I told him that. I said, I've taken beer. And he said, well, I know you really didn't steal that, but I'm going to charge you with it unless you start reporting to me on crime. And I said, crime? I was a jock, ladies and gentlemen. I was chasing cheerleaders. My only crime was when somebody punched me in the face, I'd punch them back a little too hard. And this was being done to everybody in the school. It was a giant brainwashing re-education center. What do you think goes on in a Soviet re-education center? Everything we're talking about here today. The traumatization, the threats, the telling people to report on folks, breaking everybody down. And I knew that cop was involved in narcotics trafficking. Everybody knew. The sheriff had gone to jail for flying in cocaine. That guy owned businesses in town. That guy drove a brand new Corvette. This government is pure evil. I'm good. I'm straight. I'm strong. I'm not bad. You are. And you're not going to tell the American people they're bad anymore. And so in Belton, the mayor got up and announced they'd been hit by terrorists. And I instantly knew that at the end of his 10-minute press conference, he would then say, this is just a drill. They announced we've been hit. They announced terrorists have hit. And I instantly knew it would be in the newspaper the next day, that they would write a whole article about how terrorists hit, and then only at the end say it was just a drill, to create and elicit the fear and to create the perception that terrorism was real, so that local communities could be fully federalized and accept covert Pentagon operations, from narcotics trafficking to you name it. And I went outside, and more troops came over and threatened us, and then they blew up a car, fire shooting out. And then they had the local middle school drama team put fake blood all over them and roll around on the ground for news cameras. And that's all in Road to Tyranny. Now, what do they do nationwide now? They go into public schools, children as young as 5 years of age, come in with men screaming, I'm going to kill you. I'm a homeschooler. I'm a gun owner. I'm a homeschooler against public education. That was in the federal script in Michigan. Done all over the state. And they take the kids out and blow up a bus and then throw buckets of fake blood on them. And the children scream and cry. We have video of it and Road to Tyranny from other schools as little girls cry, little 5, 6, 7-year-olds with police dogs. This is the pure evil, the pure brainwashing, the pure scientific death oozing and creeping through every facet of our lives. And I can see it. You can see it. You know what's going on. You take over your local towns. You can do it peaceably. If you get aggressive and serious and knock on every door. If our forefathers could walk in the snow until their feet bled, until there were trails of blood, the least you can do is bang on doors and warn people and go absolutely ape and expose these criminals. Your calls are straight ahead on the rape scanners and all the other engineering, psych warfare going on.
Just inside the doorway. Use it only in emergency.
The government knows what it's doing as the people arm themselves in mass and prepare for war. They want conflict. They want to baptize their paramilitary police in the fire of war. They want to plunge this country into civil war. They back the people into a corner. Each new outrage worse than the previous. Try to break our will and wed us to the blackest form of tyranny this planet has ever seen. We all need to prepare ourselves and to work as hard as we can to alert the people to the true enemy of humanity, the social engineers of the New World Order. Ron in Texas, you're on the air. Welcome.
I see that the spirit of crazy horse has got you charged up again. It's great. First off, I want to make a quick comment in reference to the last bit of yesterday's transmission.
Okay.
You are not a bad person. You are doing everything you possibly can.
I was being sarcastic when the guy called in griping, saying we didn't have MP3 files when we do.
Yeah, I know. But what hacks me off is people like that. And like I called you once before and made reference to, Ted Nugent and the apathy thing he mentioned. That is the example of what he was saying. It is up to us to take what you give us and spread that out. There was a challenge that was given to me by a certain young lady to start up a website, and I did. Rattlesnakespit.com is just that. Now, as far as this scanning thing, I was using the same technology in Iraq at ECP3. Our directive was not to scan females. Our directive was only to scan males.